Welcome, everybody. It's November. That means it's Gratitude Month, and we're going to show you how to find your gratitude today.
Yeah, on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
You've reached the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. And now your hosts, Jan O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Well, welcome everyone to the WBNL Wandering But Not Lost podcast, where real estate and reality meet. It's episode 264. You can find all of the show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. Jan O'Brien, we have had a busy week of presenting and sharing our insights over the last week. We had a presentation yesterday where we did a little beginner's guide to ChatGPT and AI, and it was amazing. It was fun. Did you see Jenny's face a couple times? She was like, whoa, because you were using real-time examples of her market area, and she was like, wow. It was interesting to watch the faces on the Zoom.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with learning that better to help us do more in our marketing and be more defined. It's just crazy. It's just like, if you embrace the power and you learn the right way to write the prompts, it becomes this crazy digital virtual assistant that is amazing, really.
Yeah, it really is. So the reason why I brought that up is because Jan and I had been already noodling an idea, putting together workshops and to maybe put a little mini course, who knows, on AI, because it is it's hard to describe how amazing it is if you haven't actually been in there to try it. It's got so many ways, so many applications in real estate. It's just absolutely crazy. So more on that coming up in the future. But today we're going to talk about gratitude like we do every November. I started off my gratitude on the 1st. As if you listen to the show, you know that I am a avid note writer in my wife's lunch every day that I make for her when she goes off to school every day. So I had written my gratitude note the other day on, what was that, Wednesday, I guess was the 1st. And, she usually reads it when she's having lunch. And it was, I thought it was a very well thought through note. And she always, she thanks me when she's driving home. She's like, oh, I love my note today, blah, 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 right? Well, I didn't hear anything when she was coming home, and she was in a particularly kind of like, a little sour mood that day, and she had a kind of a bad day. So a couple hours go by. I'm like, did you get your note today? She goes, oh, I didn't have a chance to read the note. No, my day was mom. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you go downstairs and read that note? And she came back upstairs, and she had a little tear in her eye. She was like, oh my God, I wish I would have read that note at lunchtime because I was having a bad day and it would have changed my entire day. And that's what gratitude's all about, right? It really is.
Now I got to know what the note said.
Well, it was just talking about how much I appreciate her.
I was saying, did you talk about gratitude in the note?
Yeah, that's what it was. Because every day this month is all. It's why I appreciate this. Why I'm grateful for you, honey. Month of notes. And the first one,
I love it.
The first one was pretty thick, and she was like, "Oh God." So we're going to talk about a lot of things and a lot of ways you can use gratitude and how you can inject it into your life and make it part of your routine today. But I can just tell you from real world example, there's one right there. Right off the bat.
Idea one: write a note a day for the month of November to get used to it.
No kidding.
To your significant other,
right,
or anybody else in your life.
It is Gratitude Month, so our topic today is gratitude is the antidote. And, with the world, and Jan and I talk about that, we had a great conversation yesterday, just kind of talking about, well, it actually was in conjunction with AI and how that is going to change the way a lot of people do things in the world. And we were talking about the world in general. We probably talked for 25 minutes, Jan?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, it was just a great conversation. But there is more than hustle and bustle in the world right now. There is a lot of anxiety, and there is just a lot of unknown out there. And I think a lot of people are managing their lives right now with a little bit of, I don't know if fear might be overstating it, but I know for some it is fear. And so there's a lot going on out there right now. And it's really easy to overlook kind of some of the things that can really make your life more peaceful and happier. And gratitude is exactly that. But if you cultivate gratitude, that mindset, you can provide it'll make a profound impact in the lives of the people around you and your life, and both professionally and personally. So,
Absolutely.
we're gonna cover a lot of points today about all that, and kind of, just really talk about the benefits of being grateful. I was looking around for quotes like I always do, and I happened upon this quote the other day, saying that negativity is contagious. Gratitude is the antidote. And that's kind of where we got the theme for our show today, because I always kind of thought of gratitude as being contagious, which it is, because gratitude can be very contagious. And we'll talk about some of those things. But right now, at least the world I live in, it seems like there is an awful lot of negativity out there. There's a negativity that you're going to come into when you're watching television. There's negativity, certainly negativity online. And you can get into and engage in as much of that negativity as you want to, right? You're a free spirit. You're the master of your own destiny. You can do whatever you want to do, but there is a lot of it out there. But I'm going to tell you, when you switch your mindset from that negative space, which Jan and I talk about all the time, to something that is more positive, and if you really start interjecting gratitude into your life, it truly can be the antidote to all of the angst that's going on in the world right now. So,
wow, so agree.
Keep that in mind as we go through this. Studies really have shown that if you start practicing gratitude on a daily basis, it can do a whole lot to improving your well-being and health. It can increase your happiness and contentment, like the example I just gave with my wife's note. She didn't look at that note at lunchtime, and she sure wished she would have, because she would have been the rest of her day would have been a little bit better. It can reduce your stress and anxiety. Mental health and well-being can be improved as well. Your relationships and social connections, certainly. It will provide a better quality of sleep, believe it or not. Strengthen your immune system, lower your blood pressure, which Lord knows everyone can use. Improve your cardiovascular health, increase resilience and ability to cope with challenges, and really just enhance the overall life satisfaction. And I 100% believe all of this, because you can see it happen. If you're someone that practices gratitude, and Jan and I talk about this, and we are gratitude, we live on the more positive end of the spectrum, wouldn't you say, Jan?
Yes, I work on that all the time.
Well, that's the thing. You do have to work on it, like you do with anything in your life. So but we live there. And then when you kind of get out of that space for a while, or even just a couple days, and then when you get back into it, I do anyway, I do feel a lot of these things. I do sleep a little bit better. I do feel happier. You have like a different little spring in your step a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So 100%. It can change the way your whole focus. So here's a few ways that you can practice gratitude in your personal life. And, there's 10 ideas here, but there's 100 more. And we'll Jan, throw anything in that you think that we've missed here. But keeping a gratitude journal, writing down, just write down 3 things that you're grateful for each day. Write down 1 thing that you're grateful for each day. Right?
If I can comment on that, I think I've done this, and I think there's benefits to doing it either in the morning or the evening or both, because you can start the day with maybe 1 thing I'm grateful for today, just to start that, like make it part of your morning routine. I'm grateful for, and it just starts that whole thing. And at the end of the day, if you are a journaler, you could incorporate, what are you grateful for today? What happened today that you're grateful for? And it could be little things, right, Matt? It doesn't have to be, it could be a person, it could be just some small little random act of kindness or gratitude that was shown to you, or something, right?
Yeah, and really and truly, the little things actually sometimes mean the most. So absolutely. Number 2, here's express gratitude to loved ones by telling them how much you appreciate them. It's so,
writing a note.
Yeah, well, writing a note's a good example. But I mean, just telling someone that you appreciate what they're doing, because you just don't hear that often. Practice mindfulness and focus on the present, in the present moments, noticing and appreciating the small joys around you. I always say that you need to stop and look at the little things as you're traveling along, right? Take the road less traveled and make sure you're paying attention, because those little things are huge and can completely change your viewpoint.
And Matt, this one requires, if you've got a busy monkey mind, right?
Yeah.
The stopping and becoming and being in the moment, doing your best to always bring yourself, when you find your mind wandering about stressing about what you have to do next, is how can you, when you are taking a walk, well, even just walking from your office to your car, can you be in the moment and notice and be in the present and see what you're grateful. Where's something around you that can express that for you?
This is a great one. I hadn't really thought about this one before, and it'd be really great if you had kids, I think. Create a gratitude jar and fill it with notes of things you're grateful for, and then read them whenever you need a boost. So it's like the little reminder, jar. So it's not your swear jar. You're not putting a quarter in for swearing. You're putting some gratitude in the jar there. I think we might try this. I think it's a fun one. Volunteer or engage in acts of kindness and cultivate a sense of gratitude and give back to others. I mean, come on, that's textbook, right? Take time to reflect on your achievements and milestones, expressing gratitude for your progress. That is so important. So often, we run through life and we're doing our thing, we're doing our best. And all too often we focus on the things that we do wrong or the negative things that we put out there. But you really need to give yourself some pats on the back for the things that you're doing well, and giving yourself props along the way. Practicing self-care and gratitude towards your body by engaging in activities that promote physical and mental well-being. Lord knows that is the truth. We talk about walking all the time, that it's a great way to clear your head and to get your mind on straight, and just really to get out and just kind of get really what walking does for me is a chance to kind of disconnect. Now, sometimes I listen to podcasts, so you're still connected a little bit. Not always, though, or music sometimes. But, getting out there and doing some exercise or just taking care of your body, not just with exercise, but what you're putting into it and just overall well-being. Jana Bryan, you're on a kind of a fitness routine right now yourself, and as far as, your diet and stuff. So tell us a little about that.
Yeah, I go up and down with it all the time. I was talking to my sisters about the same thing. It's funny. My sister, Marion, sent me something from 8 years ago where we all were like, okay, this is what we're all going to do. We're going to commit to these things, and we're doing that again. And it's just like shows the cyclical nature of getting refocused on staying super healthy. And so that helps, actually, having people around that are also doing the same thing. So it's just everything from this exactly number 7, self-care, taking care of myself, drinking more water. I try to drink one of these fully each day, which is about 32 ounces of, that's not quite that. I mean, I forget how big that is, but water, walking, morning meditation, just doing that daily routine. I'm not consistent with all of it. I've been doing 1 or 2 of the things I always say that I want to do. I'm definitely eating better. I'm food prepping. So I'm doing food prep and just making better, healthier choices for when I go to the grocery store as well.
Yeah. And you were just telling me yesterday that you actually physically feel the difference, right? Different mind frame. Yep. I love it. Number 8 is surround yourself with positive influences, such as uplifting books, podcasts, inspirational quotes, and people. Sometimes it's not, you can't just avoid people that carry negativity around with them, because that's a lot of them are in your workplace or maybe even in your family. But if you can surround yourself with positive influences, it certainly will make it easier for you to and feel better. Number 9 is practice forgiveness and gratitude towards those that have wronged you.
This is huge.
Releasing negative emotions and fostering healing. Absolutely. How many people do you have on your list? Right? So maybe some of those people don't need to be on that list anymore. Maybe you need to think about that and work through those issues, because whether or not you think about it every day or not, it's one of those things that's just nagging on your mind. It's so interesting to me how sometimes you don't really know what weight something is carrying on you until it is released. And once you release that weight, you can stand up straighter, right? Crazy.
Yes, I really do believe that. And I know folks that hold on to things, even though they say they've let it go. And just in their dialogue and their actions, they haven't. And I think it can lead to disease in your own body. So forgiveness is beyond, just getting into a happier, lighter space. It's like taking care of yourself. It doesn't mean that if you can forgive, you don't have to forget. You don't have to agree with whatever you feel the issue is. You don't agree with the conduct of someone else, for example. However, holding on to, really bad feelings, I just think is bad for us individually.
Absolutely. And then number 10, we've talked about this kind of throughout this, start and end your day with gratitude, a gratitude ritual, such as meditation or prayer or whatever is going to kind of just cement that and let you be grateful for your day. or set your day off on the right notes. Okay, so now let's talk about ways to incorporate gratitude into your daily routine. And Jan already talked about some of these things when we were just talking about how to, to incorporate it personally. Now, we talk about doing the daily all the time, right? There's the 5 things on doing the daily as a real estate agent. Number 1 on the do the daily, morning routine, make gratitude part of your morning routine. Number 1, start your day by mentally listing 3 things. We just talked about that a little bit in the last one, but do that in your daily, when you're doing the daily. Practice gratitude during meal times, by expressing your appreciation. It doesn't have to be praying necessarily for your food or how it was brought to your table, but really, this is really just about appreciating things around you that you just take for granted because it's just something that you do, right? And I'm not saying you have to praise the fact that you're having coffee, but at the same time, think about all the people that are involved with the cup of coffee that you actually have in that day. And I'm not talking just about the barista at Starbucks. This starts all the way back with planting the coffee bean plant, right? All the way through to where it is right now. And I know that is, really pushing that example, but everything that you touch and everything that you are, involved with throughout your day doesn't just magically appear, right? There are a lot of people that are involved in the process of bringing that to you. So, there really is. If someone says there's not that much to be grateful for, I'm telling you, a lot to be grateful for. Use visual cues such as sticky notes or reminders on your phone to prompt moments of gratitude throughout the day, right? So if you're trying to get into the routine of how you can actually get it going, sometimes you have to, work at it and put together a little plan of gratitude. Number 4 here is take a few minutes before bed to reflect on positive moments throughout the day, express gratitude for them. I do this almost every night. And it's funny, we talk about the morning routine. Everyone, you have to have your own way of doing things. I'm sure I've mentioned this before. We have a cat that's diabetic, and he is on a routine where I have to feed him at certain times because he has to have an insulin shot twice a day, and it has to be 12 hours apart. So we have this weird schedule where I feed the cat in the middle of the night. Long story around it, not even important to go into it. But the point is, I'm up in the middle of the night and then I go back to bed for a couple hours before I get up in the morning. And as I'm going, my morning routine starts really about 4 o'clock every morning.
Post-Sheldon shot.
Yeah, it starts right then because I start reflecting on. I'm going to go back, get a couple more hours of sleep, feel good and rested when I get up. And when I get up, I'm going to do boom, 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 boom. So I'm like already making my list. So when I get up in the morning, my morning routine is more like the normal things to do because I kind of already planned my day. And I'm telling you, a while when I started this process, I had a hard time going back to sleep because I was up in the middle of the night, and that was odd for me. But as I do this morning routine, it also helps me go back to sleep. So it is, nice. I found my groove with this, and it's actually pretty awesome. It's actually made my life better, surprisingly. So it's interesting how things can work out.
That is your routine. Mm-hmm.
It is. Number 5 is practice gratitude during your commute by focusing on things you appreciate.
Oh, that's a good one.
Your surrounding. This is a good one, right, Jan? Because we're all in our car a lot. And once again, it goes back to that thing we were talking about, how, just focus on the little things that are around you. If you drive the same route every day to work or wherever you are going, you're used to it. You're on autopilot pretty much. And sometimes, and depending on what kind of car you have, literally autopilot. But you probably aren't seeing a lot of things that are going on around because you're probably not looking. You're probably focusing on something else or listening or thinking about something else. So start looking around. You might see interesting things. I remember when I used to drive to work every day. I had a commute. It was about 20, 25 minutes. And I'd leave exactly at the same time every day. Well, it's funny how you would start seeing people that you would recognize cars if you really looked around, and people, right? And it's not like I became friends with the people on the commute, but it was just interesting. It's like, well, I remember cars when I was driving. Oh, where's the black Honda? Where are they today?
Where's license plate? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know what? This one just came up when you said this one. I think a great way to create awareness around whether or not you're practicing gratitude is in your commute, in your travel. Really focus on this and be aware versus the road rage that can happen to all of us because you're in a hurry or what's going on, whatever's in your mindset, and the way people can be crazy drivers or things can be happening, because I've noticed this recently. Totally. And when I catch myself being like saying something in my car because somebody cut me off or whatever and saying snarky things like, yeah, there you go. I'm glad you got around me, so that we can catch up at the light and all that kind of stuff. I feel like this is an opportunity to go, wow, I'm not really being very grateful or being in that mind state. But what a great way to become aware, because triggers can happen in cars for sure when you're driving, if you're having things happen.
Just take the car example a little bit farther. And I do this a lot because, I'm not in a huge hurry most of the time, right? I try not to spend my life that way racing around, right? That I plan I schedule my time where I can have time to do things. But there is just nothing. And it's funny to watch people's faces too. It's fun to let people walk in front of your car in a parking lot. It's fun to let cars pull in front of you when they're, when you're in at the store and stuff like that. There's so
letting
many
somebody in the line to get out, right?
Exactly. There's so many things you can do that just doesn't make you be the person that has to get to the front of the line and the fastest one in and out. I mean,
yes.
It's amazing that sometimes people will look at you like, wow, thanks,
Right.
And it's
that'll inspire them to do it. That's the whole pay it forward.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about paying it forward in a little bit, but that is exactly right. It's like, well, maybe I do have an extra 10 seconds in my day
to let you cut in front of me.
Crazy. Use a gratitude app or digital journal to record and track your daily moments of gratitude. A lot of apps out there. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about a course that we have, Align, Connect, Prosper, here at the end. That has links to a lot of different things. If you're using, have you ever used Calm, Jan?
Yes.
It's awesome. I
love that one.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good apps out there. Do you use any other apps?
I've had a couple meditation apps, but I prefer to listen to these Hemisync brains. It's from BrainSync. Her name's Kelly. I can't think of her last name right now. Anyway, I love those. When I meditate, I listen to most of those. They're just like binaural beats, scientific sort of stuff, and high frequency music. That's what I like to listen to.
Yeah,
when I meditate.
We talked about when you're out doing your walk or exercising, to kind of focus on the area around you. But you know what? Also focus on the strength and abilities of your body, right? Because a lot of times you're exercising for a reason, right? Either to lose weight or to get stronger or just to be more healthy in general. So focus on some of the things. Putting it out there and and appreciating things can help you grow stronger. So there's always these just little things. These are just little mindset tweaks that can make all the difference in the world. Let's see here. Practice gratitude during transitions or waiting periods, such as in line at the grocery store or during a commute. So we talked about the commute already, but boy, just think about all the time that if you don't only shop online, but if you actually go to a store and do some shopping, all the people you come into contact with, all of the waiting around you might do. Speaking of getting in contact with people, I love to make people smile, because if you smile at someone, they will smile back at you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a game for me. And I have played this game for really practically all my life, because it's just, my mom used to always tell me, you bet, Matthew, why aren't you smiling? That was just her thing. So smiling has just been in my vernacular, right?
Smiling's my favorite.
I've been cognizant of smiling for a long time. So I love to just smile at people. And just you are sharing a moment in your day with somebody else without saying a word. And it's a wonderful thing. So if you don't do that, or if you haven't done that, try that. Share moments of gratitude with a friend or loved one, either in person or through a gratitude text or call. Once again, it's all about the little things. It's about reaching out and saying, hey. Last night, we went out to dinner with some friends. Her birthday was coming up this weekend, and we had a fantastic time, kind of celebrating and having a few laughs. And this morning, not just because it's gratitude month, because I would have done this anyway, but I don't often when I'm giving gratitude, I don't use the word gratitude, but I do a lot in November. I just sent her a little text saying it was great to talk to you guys, or, spend some time with you guys last night. I have to tell you that we are so grateful to have you in our lives, And she texted back this long old thing, and it was, just those things that she wasn't expecting that, but it was so easy to do. So.
And it's not done. And that's the point. That's why it's unique when you take the time to do this.
That's
People
right.
don't get these things, and especially don't get things in the mail or even a text like that or a call.
Absolutely.
Or anything.
And then once again, end your day by reflecting on the blessings in the day and expressing gratitude for them. So, I mean, it's just, there's so many ways that you can actually put it into your routine. So let's talk a little bit about what you can do in your professional life. And a lot of these things are going to be the same, right? Because, it's about thinking. It's about, giving people acknowledgement. But there's a lot of things you can do in your professional life. If you're either the leader of a team, you're the broker in an office, you're just, even an agent in one of the offices, in your office, there's so much you can do there at the workplace as well, or not just physically in the workplace, but just with your peers in the work environment. So express gratitude to your colleagues and team members for their contributions and support. A lot of these things, when you read them and you hear them, it's like, well, of course you're going to do that. Yeah, but the problem is, like Jan just said, people don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not always implied. People don't get the message that you know.
I love writing little personal notes to people, and it's something that I've done a lot in my career as I have led different teams, and it just makes you feel good to do it. But then it really makes a big impact in their day. It's fun to walk around an office that you are in charge of or in, and see your notes hanging up or on their desks or on their little bulletin boards. It's pretty cool. Jan and I, I have notes from Jan right back here on the board behind me. It's awesome. So. If you are in a place that has a lot of meetings, or you're holding a office meeting or a team meeting, start your meeting or team gatherings with a gratitude round. Have everyone go around and say what they're grateful for. It's kind of an awesome thing. It doesn't have to be, it sounds hokey, and I understand that. But maybe you don't do this every single time, but every once in a while, it's kind of nice to give a little shout out to people. So and incorporating everybody else into the mix as well, right? So you're not the only gratitude giver in the location. Write thank you notes or emails to clients, customers, or partners to show appreciation for their business or collaboration. Personal notes. You can't beat them. You can't beat them because they aren't done. But a text and a call, they work too. So just if you're not a note writer, because you don't have stamps, because who does anymore?
Bought a bunch.
Yeah, I last time I was at the post office, I bought a bunch too. So recognize and celebrate achievements and milestones within your organization, expressing gratitude for the collective effort, right? So you know what? Here's the thing that I think I see a lot in business settings, that the people that do the best get the accolades. And that's great. They deserve that. But they kind of already have it because they're already the best, or they're already number one, right? Encouraging people that are up and comers, or people that are doing their best, or people that have done something, just maybe one-off little things. That bit of gratitude goes a heck of a long way to help not only make their day, but engage them. And in a business situation, it also helps with retention, quite frankly. So, gratitude can really be good for your bottom line if you're a business owner. Anything you want to add to that, Jan O'Brien?
No, I think that's a great insight. Like, look for those people that, that just one little small nod in the direction of somebody who's in the background could change beyond their day. It could change their whole, I don't know, whatever.
And also,
it could be a milestone point in their life if they're never really recognized because they're never in the front of the line.
Right. Yep. Number 5 is foster a culture of gratitude by encouraging team members to acknowledge and appreciate each other's work. So, that kind of goes a little bit back up to your little gratitude round in your meetings. But there's a lot of things, you create an environment or a culture where it is a positive work environment. People are, there's a lot of thank yous. There's a lot of acknowledgement. It will catch on with the people around you. Jan and I have worked in an environment like that. And it's when it works, it really feels good. But it's work to make it work. Number 6, practice gratitude towards yourself by acknowledging your strengths and accomplishments in your professional journey. I love this one, and we kind of talked about it before, but it's in your personal life. It's the same thing. So all too often you go down a path where you're not really looking at all the things that you actually accomplished. You're thinking about the things you haven't accomplished or you did wrong. You don't have to do that. Everyone's on a journey in their career, right? So no matter what your career is. And finding the milestones and celebrating the successes, even with yourself in your own mind, is going to help push you forward to achieve bigger and greater goals. So don't forget giving yourself a little love as well. Incorporate gratitude into your leadership style by recognizing and valuing the efforts of your team members. Kind of redundant. We've talked about that a little bit. Use gratitude as a tool for problem solving and decision making, focusing on the positive aspects of a situation. It's interesting because gratitude doesn't always, and acknowledgement doesn't always have to be about something that has been positive to someone. If someone's had a, hit a bump in the road, or someone's had a personal, thing happen to them, just reaching out and acknowledging them and listening to them, being an active listener can really make all the difference in the world. Sometimes I think gratitude can be just going up to someone and listening to what their situation is. Right?
Yep.
because they need to hear it. A lot of people don't have an ear. Most people are kind of doing their own thing and they aren't listening. And, I'm big on you need to say less and listen more. So
yes, you are. And you live that.
I do try to live that. And it fits into gratitude really well. You could create a gratitude board or wall in your office where people can share different kinds of gratitudes. They do that. They used to do that at Starbucks. I don't know if they still do that or not, but I noticed that on one wall as you walk out the door, there was, thing on there. It was kind of cool. Some of them were just testimonials that were sent in, but they were also talking about each other. Cool idea, though. Number 10 is take time to reflect on the lessons and growth opportunities that challenges and setbacks have provided, expressing gratitude toward the learning experience. So we just kind of touched on that. In almost any facet of, coaching, training, mentoring, disciplining, anything that you're doing in the work environment, when you make it positive and you throw in some acknowledgement and gratitude in there, it is going to make the situation. It just makes the situation better. It just does. In every situation, there's not going to be something that injecting gratitude into it is not going to make that whole thing better. Here's some other ways of showing gratitude. We talked about a lot of these as we've kind of gone through our discussion here, but simply just frickin' saying thank you, for crying out loud. I watch it all the time. And I think that because and COVID had something to do with this, I think, because we are getting more isolated and we're doing more things online and we're not really interacting as much, not everybody, but a lot of people as much as they used to. Some of the just normal little things you do in your life, people aren't doing anymore. So I think you could go a lot farther today. There's more currency in thank you today than there was maybe 10 years ago, but thank you is a good thing. Another thing, as far as just being out and about, and I love this too, open the door for somebody. They will be like, what the hell is happening here? Right? Because people just don't, everyone's in their own little bubble, walking around.
And make eye contact.
I don't comment to people that they're doing it, but boy, when you talk to somebody that matter of fact, the server we had last night at the restaurant, she was fantastic. That she made eye contact and made you feel like you were just the only person in the restaurant. And that makes such a difference because, she's got 100 other people she's dealing with, right? But no, it's a wonderful thing. Thank you notes. We already talked about that. They're so unusual. So, write a note. It's going to make a big difference. And if you can't do that, send a gratitude email.
To be honest, I think the key for the thank you notes for me and for many people is it's out of sight, out of mind. So if you're going to do any of these things we're talking about today, like this is a perfect example, go get your thank you notes, go design them, go pick something up at the stationery store or whatever, and have them available and out in front of you, with you in the car. And so you can do it in the moment and then have stamps. And then that's how you get them done. Otherwise, it's just a nice idea.
Yeah. Right. Well, and actually, and you can even have the plan to do it. Jan and I were talking about how we were going to get that started, and it's been a while. We're going to finally get it going, but you just have to put it into your daily routine, right? I love this one. Number 8, spend quality time. Go just sit down with somebody, whether it be a family member or a friend or, anybody that you have in your life. Put away the stuff. Get away from the distractions, be fully present for them, and engage in a conversation. Wow, that's not rocket science, people, but boy, how often do you do that? Usually you have an agenda. I don't use the word agenda in a bad way, but usually you're going into a situation with a purpose, right? Go into a situation without a purpose and see what happens. I think magical things could happen if you just go and chat someone up. Offer support. A lot of people need support in their life, with mental things that might be going on in their life, and just be there for people. Just let them know that you're there for them. And sometimes that makes a huge difference as well. Really? I mentioned this briefly before, but active listening, huge. When you're doing some of these things, when you're spending quality time, when you're supporting someone, listen to what they're truly saying and then respond to what they're saying, right? I know that we always like to fix everyone's problems, right? But sometimes they don't even want their problem fixed. Sometimes they just want someone to hear their problem. Yeah, so just listen. Most of the time. Yeah, just listen. Host gratitude gatherings. This works really well. We've talked about this as, maybe, a prospecting tool for realtors, holding a client appreciation party, but just holding a gathering in general and inviting people over for a dinner or game night or something like that can just bring people together and, allows you to switch gears a little bit and enjoy yourself. Doesn't have to be in your house. You can go out to dinner with someone, but, just connecting and having a communal situation where you're around some people and showing gratitude. It's a good thing. And then lastly, paying it forward. It makes a big deal, right? And that doesn't mean you actually have to pay for someone to make things to pay things forward, but absolutely.
Do you know what's one other thing that that made me think of, and that amazing list of just ways? There's just a plethora of ways to express gratitude and bring more of it into your life and impact others. And I find myself just naturally doing this because I just how I generally feel when I'm working with people, whether it be, like I just did it, the other day, when somebody goes the extra mile in the transaction, I will just go, wow, I really just want you to know how much I appreciate how hard you worked on this transaction. Or I will say, thank you. I'll hang up. Thank you. I really appreciate you, because people do not hear that. Yeah. So I'm talking to title companies or mortgage people, or even when I'm talking to someone who's setting a reservation or whatever, it's just having that little conversation. It's amazing how when you're working with people who are dealing with customer service, how much their job is dealing with negative and people complaining, that when you go out of the way to thank them for just, this has been the best part of my day. You've been so great at how the server is a perfect example. That's easy to do, but if it comes from your heart, because that's what happens for me. And I'm just like, it's easy to, and that's what's sad, right? Yeah. It's easy to spot when someone is just on, like the server you just mentioned, because a lot of people aren't. And you'll be like, wow, this person just doesn't even really like their day. Or maybe that's, instead of being negative about the person's attitude, maybe have some compassion for maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe
that's exactly, I think that's a really good point, Jan, right? Because you don't know what's going on in their life past the time that you spent with them. Right. But
it is easy to notice when somebody is on and they're going the extra mile, and it's easy. How often are you going, wow, and telling them that instead of just internalizing, going, wow, Matt, thank you so much. This has been a bright part of my day. You are really amazing at what you do.
I don't know if you do this, Jan. It's something that I have made a habit of doing when I'm talking to somebody in customer service, when I have a legit problem, right? And sometimes, when I kind of get that, complacent feedback, and it's like, yeah, kind of the yeah thing from the person on the other side, and I start to get a little bit heated, because I do every once in a while. I almost always say, it's like, listen, Chad, I know that this is not your doing. You didn't create the situation. I'm sorry I'm taking this out on you, but whatever it is, Yep. Just by acknowledging to them that, hey, I'm really not beating you up. I'm frustrated. I hope you hear frustration in my voice, and I need some help. But I know it's not your fault.
But let's work on this together and find a solution, right,
exactly. Chad? That's a good line right there, Jay.
I know you can help me find a solution.
Yeah, please, please be my savior.
I appreciate you, Chad, working with me and letting me vent. Like it's literally that too, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just just kind of outlining the situation, because
I don't know who Chad is, but I'm liking him already.
Yeah. Customer service is a tough job, because you are getting beat up all day long, right? Very few people are praising them.
For the most part.
Yeah, well, exactly. All right, just remember, showing gratitude is not a one-time event. It's a mindset and practice that can be incorporated into your daily life, and that is the honest to God's truth. I mean, I love how we talk about gratitude every November, and I hope it touches a few people and makes people, a few people anyway, practice it beyond November and to the rest of their life. But it's true; it's not a one-time thing. And if you do it once, that's great, But if you get to be known as the guy that's grateful, people want to be around you for crying out loud. Guy. What was that? Yeah.
It's the gratitude guy.
Yeah. Yeah. People would like to be around the gratitude guy as opposed to, Neville negative. So there you go. Small acts of gratitude can have a big impact on others and create positive ripple effect. And that is so true. So it's the antidote for a lot of things, but it is also quite contagious as well.
Absolutely.
So what else, Jan O'Brien?
No, that's great stuff. It's just really get you in the mindset. We always just use November, with the Thanksgiving month, and it's been just historically what we've done to bring it to the forefront. But honestly, I really do feel I've gotten better over the years of catching myself if I'm not feeling grateful, and then just getting back to some of these basic practices. So
Right. I guess in the end of the day, you can start small, just be patient with yourself as you're going through the process. Watch as gratitude transforms your life and your business and everybody else around you, quite frankly. It can make a huge difference.
it just starts with awareness and deciding how you're going to show that to yourself and others. We gave you a ton of ideas today.
Exactly. Going to leave you with this quote. I love this quote. Best way to cheer yourself up
There it is.
to try to cheer someone else up. And
Mark Twain. Thank you,
it
Mark.
is the most awesome thing because it is the honest to God's truth.
That
At least
is true.
it gives me the warm feelings for sure.
Because it's the reaction on the other person that makes you go like, wow, all right, well, there we go. And it's just one little small moment in time that was more positive than negative. So
That's right. I want to say that we're thankful for you. We are grateful for our podcast listeners. We're grateful people that follow WBNL coaching. So thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being part of the WBNL family. Next week, we have a new Ask Five with Alex Gianetti. He is the author of the book, Great People Know Great People. It's a easy read, great stuff in here. It's written in his voice, talking about his experiences. I've known Alex for years and years and years, well, a couple decades actually, and watched him in the career where we met. We actually met when we worked for the Walt Disney Company. He moved into mortgage and then into real estate, actually moved across country with a job transfer that his wife had. And that's where he kind of got into the whole, oh my gosh. And Jan, we talk about this when, Jan's moved to Florida. Here I am. I don't know anybody here. How am I going to keep my business, up and running? And his whole thing was networking. So we were going to talk about networking next week with Alex Gianetti on the podcast. So good stuff coming up next week. And then we have, a couple more Ask Fives coming up toward the end of the year. We are approaching the end of 2023. Kind of wild that we're here. Our year-end show's coming up. So I want to just mention as we get ready to close here, folks, that you need to do the daily. Remember, gratitude can be a part of, gratitude can be a part of all of these things. But Absolutely. Number one, your morning routine, make sure that you incorporate gratitude into your morning routine. And by the way, if you'd like to get your hands on this handy little sticker here to keep in front of you, you can go over to our shop. We have a resource pages on our website, WBNLcoaching.com. Just go over to the drop down, go to resources, and there's a shop in there, and you can buy your sticker. I think the sticker's $1.99. And boy, it's going to put money in your pocket because you're going to be happier during your transactions.
Yeah, buy more than one so you can, put them everywhere and share them. And then you can even get a fun thing like this. This is my morning walk or going to the gym, do the daily. And then I put one of those stickers on here. This is in our shop too, this beautiful little tiny water bottle, which is the perfect size. See, it's the perfect size. Perfect size to go take a walk with.
There you go. And then, as we mentioned, we do have a wellness course, Align, Connect, Prosper. It might be out of your financial budget to get this course, but I'll just throw the price out anyway. It's $19. So run over to our courses and download Align, Connect, Prosper. It's a 4-module course. Talks a lot about mindset. There's stuff on gratitude in there as well. Links to several of the podcasts that we've done we've done around different mindset things, really things that can help get your mind focused, not just in your business world, but also in your personal life as well. So check that over at WBNLcoaching.com/courses. Check that out. Anything else, Jan?
I'm grateful for you, Matt Emerson. Thank you for being in my life.
Jan O'Brien, I am grateful for you as well. And we will leave it on that note.
There it is.
So everyone, get up, get out, do all the things we talked about today. Focus on the little things when you're out there getting up and get out. Live the life you've dreamed and be forever wandering, but not lost. And the title of our presentation today is Gratitude is the Antidote. And, I got this the other day. Well, hold on. Forgot about that slide.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. It's your,
I just want to share joy in the world with my Jan's beads.
maybe we can come up with a better title.
Jan's bracelets. All right.
Okay, now if you're gonna now think of another B and you're there. Baubles, beads, and bracelets from Jan O'Brien. Yeah, we should, in Canva, we should make little tags that you can put with it that explains what it's all about.
Yeah.
If you can, like a little thing about this is your gratitude bracelet and blah 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 about gratitude.
Yeah.